Okay, people. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Comes to you live from our comfy couch here on the Oscars Internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for April 24th, 2022, which hosts Space Warrior 2448 and Ramp It Up Salon.
Hello.
We were having a very long conversation about 01 stuff.
Yes.
Before we started.
Because while someone had to step away, I decided I was not gonna do the thing that I always do when we change shows and actually look for an image list. And I found two. One we'll get to about halfway through the show.
Yeah, in case you're not aware, folks, we are doing 01 starting next week. We're going to be doing the entire series minus the 5 recap specials for COVID. We will do I believe we're doing 36.5. That's what we decided on.
35.5.
Yeah, the half episode that's also a recap episode.
Or if you're watching on Tubi, 41.
Right.
We're literally skipping 36 to 40.
Mm-hmm.
It on the Tubi listing, which will be the ones linked on the site, kind of deal.
Yeah, because we'll be doing the official release via Shout Factory. If you look my notes, do not expect me to write Izu as IS. I refuse.
I mean, you don't want to call her Is all the time?
No, because that is entirely confusing.
And entirely takes away the point of why she's named which.
Yes. Which I have not checked it. What is Wazzle spelled as in the show?
I don't remember, actually. Because I've got this weird thing where if I recognize that they're saying a name, I tend to not pay attention to the sub as much. So I don't think I've actually paid attention enough to actually know.
Yeah. Because I thought about that. I'm thinking about that because there was a conversation in Soda Pop Discord about Wazzle and how Wazzle can theoretically be revived because his data is in the Shining Hopper key. And if anyone thought about it, they could revive him, which I don't think that's actually the case. Maybe? I don't know.
No, no, they're actually right.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it was kind of either... yeah. I started to say it, and then I'm like, wait a minute, we're gonna be doing the show. That's relatively early in it. Yeah, let's not.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was like...
Yeah. Because of the events, truthfully, yeah, that could have been the thing that we never...
Yeah.
Whoops.
I mean, I always, because it pops up in the show later, I always think that Arto's dad is in the 01 driver to some extent. Not fully, but his dad is in there somewhere.
I feel like, yeah. And truthfully, probably fully. Because I have to think the whole process of not keeping a backup of any human gears pertaining to the 01 project happened after that. So he probably is backed up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether or not he could actually be compatible to be returned, that could be the plot point they could go with.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I feel like that's something that can't work, because then that also brings a big plot hole for Hirobi.
Yeah. Look, we're dealing with AIs, and here's the thing about AIs. Their existence is fundamentally different than a human existence. So our idea of what death means doesn't apply to them. because we can't get backed up and be perfectly fine. They can. Because they are digital beings. We are physical beings. Those are two very different things. We can't just say that, like, oh, they're dead. I'm like, well, by our standards, yes, but not by an AI standard, because fucking there could just be a copy of them floating out there, and it's theoretically the same person. Theoretically speaking.
I mean, true.
That's why I feel it's weird when people like harp on like Izu being brought back and all that. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
Izu herself wasn't brought back.
Right.
I mean, we do full on with real time even acknowledge the fact that this is different. So I mean, that's one of the few that actually, yeah, dead.
Anywho, that'll be starting next week. We will be doing the 2V cinemas, fortunately, because
yeah,
you've heard us talk about them if you've been around long enough. Yeah, we don't like them, so you get to hear our long extended thoughts about these garbage movies that are garbage. Sorry, they are.
I was fine with the first one. The second one broke me.
I feel like the first one set up a thing, and then the second one went a completely different direction with it, and I don't understand.
Yep.
Because I'm like, wait, you set up one thing, and now you're implying something entirely different. I don't. What happened? That is not what you said last time. Unless I'm just reading this movie wrong, which apparently I'm just reading movies wrong these days. I'm just reading it.
That was what it kind of felt like with me. Was we were going one direction, and then we ended with a big body count that is actually a very small body count at the same time.
Yeah.
Because we end up with a total of 5 deaths, and 4 are not permanent.
Yeah. Yeah, because I do not buy for a second, but all 4 of them are dead. Are dead. No, fuck it. They have come back from worse than this. At least
2 of them came back twice.
Exactly. They're all dead 3. This is normal for them. They're just on respawn. Only one person out of that 4 hasn't died yet. Literally. Anywho. We should talk about Kuuga at some point.
Yeah, because we just completely derailed because the sheer fact of bringing up the darn V cinemas.
But yeah, if you're wondering why we're not doing real time, it's because we already did it. It's a previous episode. Because we did it when we were waiting on the Ryuki subs.
Yeah. So
we did real time with the Saber movie since they were double billed. So you can watch that for our thoughts on real time. Spoilers, it's really fucking good. It's where I think ReZero 1 should have ended and not done these V cinemas. Or at least if they were going to do the V cinemas, do something different. Because what you did didn't work.
Yeah.
Past 01, I don't fucking know. We'll figure out once we get closer to there. And by we, I mean me. I'll figure out something.
We will disclose something. Far enough out that we can say that.
Yes.
Because I'm pretty sure, I think rough figure... that's about 3 months out, so
maybe we'll have another official release. I hope.
we'll probably have an announcement of another release.
I was listening to a video talking about the Mill Creek subs, and what I found out through that video makes Ultraman versus Rider in terms of their sub releases in the official capacity make a lot of sense. Mill Creek is not doing all of their subs for the Ultraman stuff from scratch. They're actually being given subs by Subaraya that are pre-existing subs for a lot of their content. Because Subaraya has been trying to bring over Ultraman to the States and stuff for years. So there's a lot of different shows that just have an official English translation that they just have in the back pocket. They just don't have something to attach it to. So Mill Creek has just been given whatever Subaraya has, and they've just cleaned it up and made it presentable and then put it out. Whereas we don't have that for Rider, meaning Shout Factory has to build all these subs from the ground up.
But here's the bad thing. They do, but they don't. As many fan sub groups are out there, I get that's technically their own work.
Right.
But could they not arrange some kind of a, hey, you did a good sub on this. How about we buy it from you?
Something legal mumbo jumbo, I'm sure. I'm sure there's some legal nonsense in there somewhere that's like, nah, we actually can't do that.
But I doubt it, for the simple fact of it's technically an intellectual property the original owner knows about.
Mm-hmm.
And is being used by someone that original owner has even said, go do it.
Yeah.
It's one of those, I'm like, when everyone's in the same agreement there, I don't see any kind of real legal issue. If someone was like, no, you can't do that, then yeah. But how I look at it, they're wanting to get Rider subbed. Have subs come to conclusion.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I saw mention that like Saber will probably be the next one because, especially, at least it'll be the next one on home video release because it seems like they want to do at least the Rarely stuff first on home video, which to me sounds stupid. Like, you have what are we at? Like 3 shows done in the can that you can put out the subs, put out on video and make money on. Because I'm sure 01 did well enough.
I mean, yeah.
Like, you might as well just put those 3 out. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Just put them out. Like, the people will buy them. It doesn't matter that they're not like the next in line unless Toei's like, mer, 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 mer. No, you have to do only the Rarely stuff because it's the do stuff. Because fucking Toei's fucking stupid about this stuff sometimes.
Unless they're figuring the new stuff, putting it out there quick would be more beneficial. Catch it while the hype could still be around at concept.
Right.
That's the only logical thing I could. Because, I mean, yeah, the older stuff would be nice. But at the same time as there's much hype.
I think it would depend on what's coming out product-wise and anniversaries. Because, you know what would be really nice to have right now, considering that there is a very, very hyped up anime coming out this year that is a sequel to said show. Double fucking just like, I don't.
And say, I'm also surprised that we've not heard them be like, oh yeah, Double's the next one getting official subs. Because it would make sense right now.
Yeah.
Watch the show before you watch the anime kind of concept.
But no. Of course not.
Granted, I mean, we have already covered it on TGSR, so that would not give us an extra thing to do, but...
Right.
But still, I mean, that would be a case of that would be the smart thing to do.
Mm-hmm. I will be honest, if Saber is next, I don't know if we will do it. Because I don't know if I want to trudge through that show. Sorry, I don't.
If Saber's next, I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
We don't have to do it for the show, but I will at least give it a shot.
No. Like, I will buy the Blu-ray because I would like to own all of Rider on home video at some point in the future.
Good, bad, or otherwise.
Right. Even if I don't like Kabuto, I would still like to have a Blu-ray, DVD, whatever of it.
That's drawing the line for me. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Like, I've already templated and made spine, like custom in-order spine arts for the ones that are already officially subbed that I have color-coded per era in their number in order of era. So that whenever we get a new one, I can just make another one and print it off and slip it in so that all of the Rider stuff, they have a consistent spine art instead of whatever they'll have when they come out.
Fair.
But yeah, that I found out about that and I was just like, oh, that's why Mill Creek is cranking this shit out like once every like 2 months or so, and Ryder is drip feeding us so goddamn hard, it's ridiculous. But yeah, we are at 34 minutes in. We have not talked about one of 5 episodes yet.
I mean, yeah.
God damn it. All right, Kuuga, episodes 45 through 49. Any thoughts going into them before we hit the recaps then?
No.
All right, then, we shall kick off with episode 45, Arch Enemy. So, Godai is fighting our beetle friend, our beetle Grongi, and he is absolutely outclassed by this guy because he has the same ability as his Godai to form change and also just yank his weapons and make them his own, which he does at one point with the Titan Sword. In fuck moment.
Yeah.
So Godai's getting beat down hard. Ichijo arrives on scene, sees our little bird friend, scorekeeper guy, and shoots his abacus, which pisses the bird off, and he just shoves Ichijo over the railing of this tower and just leaves him to dangle as he's like, well, this is broken. I'm gonna leave now. I can't do anything. Bye. We cut back to Godai. He's in Rising Mighty now. He does a rider kick against the Gronki, leaves the glyph. He just shakes it off, which is bad. It gets even worse when the Gronki goes Rising himself with the lightning and everything, and then backs up, charges forward for a rider kick. Godai tries to intercept with a punch and gets directly kicked into a shed. It just comes out stumbling as growing and then just passes out. So that's not good. That's not good at all. Ichijo does get back up on the railing by himself, even though Sagita shows up. I don't know how he did it, because they cut from him dangling to him just crash out against the railing. But we check in with Nikita's team at this point. They're continuing to work on these new bullets that should help. Also, Nikita gets called by her grandmother, who's just like, you're not going to this parent-teacher conference. Blah, blah, blah. It's just the thing that she's clearly still upset about, but she's got work to do, because what else is she supposed to do? This work's important because it could save lives, but also kid. so rock and hard place. It sucks. Godai's rushed to the hospital because he's really beat up. We see the Dagobos observing this final round as well. We check in the Popo group real quick. Is there? 1 second. All right, I'm back.
Welcome
I had to
back.
check my dog real quick. He didn't want to vote, and I'm like, all right, what now? It's like, oh, somebody's home. Okay, good. Nothing of importance. Anyway, we checked in Popo group real quick. They're catching up on stuff. I think they get a letter from Mika. Like one of two letters from Mika. At this point, I don't remember. The Popo stuff was super quick and not of importance, so I kind of just skimmed through it. But Ichijo's out looking for our bird Gronky since the bullet he shot at him had a tracker in it, so the bird Gronky's tagged. He does find him at a stadium, and since the Abacus got destroyed, our beetle friend has to start over his game, and he's like, fine, but I'm killing the bird guy because he let the Abacus get destroyed. Question: if he kills Birdman, who's keeping score now?
Yes.
Or does he just win by default because, like, like he just kills a bunch of people? All right, you win, I guess.
He wins because Birdman's dead to not be able to say other.
Fair. So two of them are fighting. Ichijo's going to be observing them as he waits for backup. Kita's team finally finalizes their bullets, and they get several rounds sent to Ichijo and Sagita and the other cop. because two of them arrive as backup for Ichijo. Sabaki and Saratari are talking at Godai's bedside about going through Godai's plan to shock him again, to give him a power up, because we're out of options and we need an ace in the hole. We didn't check in with John and Akita, and they just talk. And I do like how much they show Akita's clearly upset about her situation of she wants to be there for her kid. She really does. But because of the Grongi, her work is important and necessary. So she has to be there to do that. So it's either people's lives or her kid's life. And like, that's not a choice. That sucks.
Yeah.
It's not like she can quit because that's her job. It's her finances. She's a single mom. Like, what is she gonna do? It's absolutely sucks. But I like that they've let her vocalize, just like, yeah, no, I'm caught between a rock and a hard place and I don't know what to do. And it sucks because I'm hurting my kid. And I hate it. But we decide to, we end on Tsubaki deciding to shock Godai once more, which takes us to episode 46, Indomitable. Godai wakes up after the shock and stuff, and he's feeling better. And also, he's got some more energy to him. So, yay, it worked.
It didn't kill him.
I mean, I wouldn't think that would kill someone. At least not Godai, because there's healing factor and all that.
Godai, yes.
A normal person?
No.
Yeah.
They're dead.
Uh-huh. But backup rise for Ichijo as Jean and Nikita continue their conversation. We'll get to the whole of that later. They get the new bullets, and as the fight breaks up between the two Grongi, Ichijo goes after our beetle friend. Sugita and the other cop guy go after the bird. That's when we see that Jean tells Akita, just talk it out with your kid. Just because that's the best thing you can do. Let him talk with him so that he understands why things are happening. Because that's all you can really do. Just talk to him. Talk things out. Work something out. Which, honestly, that's about her only option.
Yeah.
So, good. Ichijo's fighting the beetle Grongi. He actually gets several shots in and knocks the Grongi out. So you can have a quick conversation with Rose once more as she's like, the Linto have become more like the Grongi. Pretty much the same stuff she's been saying all season. Then we see that the bird Grongi is just straight up gunned down by Sugita and the other cop. They just unload on him and he's dead. Like, he's confirmed dead. Unfortunately, our beetle friend is not, and he gets back up and starts to try to kill Ichijo, only for Godai to show up, and he just goes straight to Rising Mighty because he can actually hold the form now, unlike before. So he fights the Grongi, takes it outside to where where this Grongi can be exploded without any issue. And as they fight and stuff, the Grongi goes rising again, and Godai sets up a rider kick, and instead of going, and he actually goes to a new form, which is Amazing Mighty. Yes, that is the official name for it. I don't know why it's called Amazing Mighty at all.
I mean, they don't either.
Yeah, but it's a black and gold version of Rising that has a second anklet. They clash rider kicks. They both get knocked down. The beetle Grongi gets up first. Seemingly is fine, but then we see two glyphs on his chest. He goes kaboom. The final Grongi is down outside of Dagaba. And the explosion is a large pillar instead of like a big area explosion this time. Which I wonder if that's a property of the destruction glyphs from Amazing Mighty.
Okay.
But yeah, we then check in with Jean and Akita. Jean sees Akita off at her home. She goes, talks to her kid, works things out. They are moving in the right direction. And we end the episode with Dagva ready to fight Godai. So, how'd you feel about this first pair of episodes? This is kind of a two-parter of sorts.
I feel like our final Grongies there. Robert class. In all seriousness.
Fair.
We are purely here for final fight.
Yeah, they don't get to do a whole lot, and they get killed immediately.
And they spend more time fighting each other.
Yep.
Also, to that, I've got to say, why didn't they just let them fight it out? I mean, best case scenario, one's dead. Worst case scenario, they both die. Or, I mean, opposite of that. Worst case scenario, you gotta take one down. Best case scenario, they kill each other. Win-win.
Fair, but it doesn't give them anything to do for the episode, so meh. I guess. I don't know. I guess they're not sure what happens if a Gronky kills another Gronky in this situation. Whether that Gronky can get back up.
Fair. That I might could see.
Yeah, it's fine pair of episodes, but it's all build up to our final set of episodes. So, shall we roll into them then?
I guess we shall.
All right, we kick off with episode 47, Decision. We start this episode kind of oddly because we are seeing a fight through Godai's eyes. We see what I assume is his first encounter with Dagva. We see him face off with him in the streets as it is pouring down rain. Dagva goes into his monster form and immediately sets Godai on fire because that's what he can do. Is he can just set you on fire. So Godai's on fire, and presumably they fight. And as we see, hey Charizard, how's it going? But we have Godai looking at like a reflective wall surface. And we see that he's in his Amazing Mighty form. So he was fighting Dagva in Amazing Mighty and losing. And also the Arkle is cracked. Like heavily cracked. Which is not good. We also see several other people get set on fire. I believe some of these are bystanders. Some of them might be police. The show never says who got killed. But yeah, being set on fire is a very terrible way to go.
Yeah.
But Godai eventually passes out as Dagva's like, get stronger, make this more fun, goodbye. We then get kind of a cut forward, or like a little mini flash forward to the end of the next episode, before we cut back to Godai driving out in this storm, which, by the way, apparently Dagva also has... I'll just watch the recent episode of Revice. I have not. I have been tired and sick, so I have not gotten to Revice at all. I will tomorrow. Have you watched Revice for the week?
I have. And you can definitely feel that we're in the setup.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the I will say this because we've called it from the start of him appearing. But this is Apollo Gas Man actually showing his true colors kind of deal.
Yeah. Like, I've seen the Raw, but I have not watched it subbed. Because since we started at 9 yesterday, I can watch Rider Raw.
But yeah, that's one of those. It more felt like this was pure setup kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And that we're fixing to really see everything hit the fan.
Except for Sakura, who will be departing the show for a few weeks. Since,
yeah.
It sucks that she got COVID and she's having to leave the show to... yes, the episode preview. Yeah, that is Vale. Vale. I'm now saying Vale just because that's how I'm reading it, even though it should be Bale. Yeah, that is Bale showing up in person. I've seen the images for next week's episode, which, by the way, Sakura gets a new weapon next week. Guess what it is?
What?
It's Yaiba's scythe from her jackal form, repainted for the Shoebill buy stamp.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Sakura's actor got COVID a few weeks ago, which is about when they would be filming, the upcoming episodes of Revice. And based off episode summaries, her and Aguilera are going to be going off on a training mission for, I assume, the time period it would take Sakura's actor to self-quarantine and recover from COVID.
So presumably at least 2 weeks.
Maybe more, who knows?
That's why I said at least.
Yeah. But yeah, so Sakura in person won't be on the show for a couple weeks. And I'm guessing Aguilera is going because we don't know what to do with you without Sakura, so go with her and train, I guess. I am going to be sad we will not get to see training shenanigans between the two of them. Because I assume all the training is going to be off-screen.
Maybe?
If we see anything, we might see them in suit training, but we won't see them in person training.
That's kind of why I was like, well, maybe? Because it's like, I could see that being a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am glad that they gave a reason for Sakura to leave, but also be doing stuff. And hey, we continue the plotline with Aguilera because she's going with her. Which, good. At least they get to continue it off screen. But anywho, back in the Kuuga episode. Apparently, Dakiva has the ability to control storms and stuff, so this downpour we're seeing the entire episode is his doing. I just know that because something somewhere said he does, and I guess that's the case. Because I don't know otherwise.
I mean, it makes sense. He can set people on fire, of course he can make it rain. Kind of concept.
Yeah.
I mean, someone's got to put the fires that he makes out.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Godai's out driving in this. He's going to be checking in with all of our supporting cast members as the police are working on a tracker for Dakiva. He talks to Kanzaki first, our teacher friend. We find out the one kid from the previous episodes is doing good. Yay. We also find out, because he repeats this every conversation, is that once this is done, he's off to an adventure. And everyone's kind of like, some people are a little surprised by that, of just like, wait, you're just going to leave after all this? And it's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, Godai probably needs to leave. He needs to get away from all of this for a while. Like 13 years while. We'll talk about that later.
I also like the fact that the way they did it actually made me read into that as he is full on expecting not to come out of this.
Well, considering
and that's actually the case.
Yeah. Well, considering what his plan is, he's like, this is either going to, like, I'm either going to come out of this okay, or I'm going to turn into something bad, terrible, and I have to die. So I'm at least seeing everybody off because I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm at least going to say goodbye.
And I feel like they nailed that kind of deal.
Yeah.
I also... It's one of those, an episode like this is the point where you realize there's a crap ton of supporting cast members.
Oh god, yeah, because everyone here is reoccurring to a certain degree, to some extent. Like, I believe Kanzaki is like the least recurring person in this cast that we get talked to, and even then, he at least gets a scene, and we get to talk about the kid related to his last appearance on the show.
Yeah. It's one of those, it's like, holy crap.
We remember our plots, even our smaller subplots.
Also, where did they go wrong? Because now it's hard to keep them in mind if they haven't been in more than one episode. Recent kind of deal.
I say it is up to the writer, because I forget the writer offhand without having to look it up, but yeah. I think it's just up to the writer.
Because this is what it should be. Even the small recurring cast members should matter in a case like this. Because there was a reason they were recurring.
Mm-hmm. But after that one, Godai checks in with Kita. They talk about her kid. They talk about the two of them trying to make pancakes, and they go terribly. And then he's like, we went for a walk. And Godai's like, that went terribly too, right? She's like, no! Like, I love that she's just cracked up laughing at the thought of, like, how does a walk go wrong?
I mean, it definitely could.
Yeah. I like it because it's just a nice little moment between the two of them. We then check in with Tsubaki, and he tells him that, like, yeah, the Arco's not fully recovered. You can probably transform, but I don't know how much else you can do. And he's like, good enough. And this is when, like, the second part of that plan comes in, because, yeah, the Arco is weakened. So remember that for later. Also, Tsubaki even gives him the suggestion of, like, the two of them going off to, like, a beach instead of a mountain for his adventure. But he's just like, I'm not going with you. But I think Godai took that advice because of where we see him later.
I feel like he did.
Mm-hmm. We also see him drop by where I would presume he fought Dagava, because there's a bunch of little mementos and stuff for people who died there, and it's just quiet as all you hear is the rain pouring down. You just see Godai with his helmet on, just looking at all of this. And we do check in with Ichijo. He's at a previous warehouse. He does run into Rose for a conversation as Dagava is outside a hospital, threatening to attack it, I guess, but he's not going to. Which is kind of scary because in this episode as well, Minori's friend is in the hospital because she's about to give birth. And they don't show what hospital she's in from the outside. So seeing it the outside of a hospital and then the inside, or the inside of a hospital and then the outside of a hospital, without knowing it's the same hospital, is like, oh no, 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 don't you dare. No, show, don't. But that's where we end the episode, which takes us to episode 48, Kuuga. So we check in with the Popo group. As Godai's there, he's just talking to Kazari and Nana. he just tells him, like, I'm going off an adventure, and both of them are kind of just shocked by that. And Nana doesn't want him to go. But he's like, I got to, but I'm gonna finish up fighting Dagova and all this before I go. And that's when it finally clicks for the both of them that, oh, you're Kuuga. You're ULF-04. Oh. And then he kind of leaves before they can really have a conversation about that. So they're kind of left to process all that. Well. Then we check with Ichio. Him and Rose have a conversation. By conversation, I mean Rose does not give him any answers to any questions he asks because she does not give a fuck. She absolutely no-sells him and just shoves him once and then just walks away. So they're next to this pier, and Ichio's just like, all right, fuck this, and just shoots her. He just puts 5 in her, and then she's just like, the Litsu have finally become like the Grongi, and just keels over into the water. By the way, she's not dead. I don't know how. Because she shows up in the novel and is the one that unsealed the Grongi that show up in the novel.
Okay. I mean, I guess that makes sense because we didn't see an explosion.
But we didn't see an explosion for the Birdman, and he's confirmed dead.
Yeah, but we didn't see an explosion.
True. Also, Rose does not die in the novel either, so she's still kicking around in the Kuuga's story.
Oh boy.
But then Godai heads to Mori's school. She makes some good luck charms for the kids and stuff, and makes one more for the baby to be born. And I believe he has like a quick conversation with Minori before he ends up leaving. They don't talk too much. But then he heads off to talk to Sanotari. They have like a fairly brief conversation, and as Godai's leaving because they've got a location on Dagova, she's like, I'm gonna leave the window unlocked. You better climb in, damn it. So, yeah. We got the location on Dagova. Godai heads there. They meet only momentarily before Dagova's like, let's meet somewhere else. We're gonna fight there. Goodbye. And then just leaves. And so Godai's like, as Ichio arrives, which Ichio arrives on a bike, and I'm assuming this is the repaired Tri-Chaser, because it looks like a Tri-Chaser, but they've gotten like Tri-Chasers for the cops at this point, but it doesn't look that like that version. It looks like Godai's Tri-Chaser, but I don't know. I want to think it is, just for sentimental reasons. But yeah, Dagova wants to end this fight up in the mountains, so Godai and Ichio head there. Once they're there, Godai tells Ichio, hey, the Arkle's weakened. If things go wrong, shoot there. Just straight up telling him, if I go bad and I go nuts, put a bullet in the belt, because it will kill me. For good. And then he asks him to see... yeah. And then Godai asked him to watch his henshin one more time as he transforms into Ultimate. And this is Godai's final form. And it only gets like this one fight scene, and that's it.
And it don't even get the full fight scene.
Yep. But it is still one of my favorite final forms because I adore this design. It is so good. Because to put this in perspective for folks, because they've talked about it a bunch, but they haven't gotten into the specifics of it. Godai is tapping into a power that puts him on par with Dagova in more ways than one. Like, power-wise and all that, he's on par with Dagova. But he is also very much staring into the abyss. And one false move from Godai, and it will consume him. And it will turn him into just a mindless, psychotic killing monster, just like Dagova. And nothing will bring him back. This is all or nothing on Godai. And the only reason he did not succumb, is because of who he is. Which is the reason that this form has red eyes instead of black eyes, which you probably have seen if you've watched Decade, because that's where that version of it pops up, because Onodore takes on that form a couple different times in the show, in movies. I don't know if you remember that at all.
Not really right offhand.
Okay. But yeah, Godai is literally tapping into a thing he should never tap into for this one fight. Because he has to. That is why Ultimate is a very, 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 very dangerous thing that should not be popping up as much as it does every other time, but Final Form and all that. But yeah, Godai heads into the fight, which seems like it's closer than it does, because we see Ichigo trying to reach the fight later, and he's having to travel through so much crap to get there, and I'm like, wait, did Godai just hop there in an instant?
I mean, if he's tapping into the same powers, we already know the teleportation is one of them.
Fair. But yeah, on this snow-covered mountain with a blizzard surrounding them, the two fight, and they are just throwing haymakers and drawing blood immediately. Like, they are cracking the armor and drawing blood. And they just punch, kick. They throw fire to start with as well, just to be like, hey, we both can light each other on fire. It doesn't matter. But they just throw haymakers left, right, and center, and they end up both cracking each other's belts, which takes them out of their rider and monster forms respectively, which means Godai is now fighting Dagava in his, like, human form. Which means literally Godai is having to beat this man to death with his bare hands. Take that in for a second. Godai is having to beat this man who does not look that old, mind you, because Dagava's actor doesn't look that old. So I'm sure that is already traumatizing enough for Godai, but he's having to beat him to death with his bare hands. That is probably one of the most fucked up things any writer has had to do in this franchise ever. If I'm being honest. But yeah, they continue just swinging at each other. Just punch. Blood dripping from their mouths. Dagava is laughing the whole time, because Dagava's enjoying this. And Godai's not. Like, he breaks into tears by the end, because he hates this. He hates that this is what it's come to. Because he has already, like, shredded his soul enough fighting these Gronkies. And now he has to do this to fucking end this. But yeah, they eventually just trade enough blows that they both just crash to the ground. And by the time Ichigo shows up, he's calling for Godai's name, and that's where we end the episode. We don't even see anything beyond that. The novel does pick up on this. Apparently, an avalanche happened, and it swept away their bodies. They recovered Dagava's body. They did not recover Godai's. And
so
as far as
the entire time, they actually thought he was dead.
Ichigo doesn't know if he's alive or dead. And I think he kind of tells everyone that, like, Godai kind of just left. But he doesn't know if he's alive.
That makes a lot more sense then.
Yeah.
Because
Ichigo was...
the way that it ended up playing out in the last episode made it seem as if Ichigo knew he did, but wasn't gonna say he did either.
Yeah.
But looking at it that way, that makes more sense. He really probably was feeling, okay, this man probably just died. I'm gonna assume he died.
Also, Ichijo blames himself for Godai doing all of this stuff because Ichijo just takes the blame onto himself, which it's not his fault.
No.
But he's still like, Godai did all of this on my watch. I let him do all of this on my watch. I wish I did something to alleviate that, but I couldn't, and it sucks. But that takes us to our final episode, our epilogue episode. Episode 49, Yusuke. 3 months later, they are wrapping up all the paperwork and stuff for the Grongi cases. The task force stuff that they've established is kind of like breaking up. Everyone's kind of going back to their normal positions. Ichijo's looking over some of the case files and stuff, and he talks to the other cop characters we've had. They kind of wonder where Godai is, because throughout this episode, we'll get teases of like where Godai is, but we won't really see where he is until the end of the episode. But it's very clear after a certain point that like, oh yeah, no, it's Godai, because you see on the backpack that ring of good luck charms he's gotten from the kids. But much like the other episode, Ichijo now checks in with all of our supporting cast members, which is kind of a nice parallel. So we see that Nana's got a role, and like I said in the novel, she goes on to become a big-time actress. And Kita is out with their kid, playing ball, so they're doing good. John is off to Disneyland! Because... I don't know why.
You didn't catch it then.
Oh yeah, he's heading up to Disneyland with the two of them, isn't he?
Yep.
And I forgot about that.
Because it never full on says it, but you hear about them going the next day, and then later you hear him say he's going, and it's like, okay.
Mm-hmm. But yes, there is a Disneyland in Japan, for reference, around this time, and it has some different stuff to it. Like, it had an entire attraction to itself underneath Disney Castle that focused on the villains and stuff. I have done a deep dive into Defunct Land and Yesterworld on Disney World stuff. I may know too much about Disney World parks and the differences and all that.
Or not enough, one of the two.
I'm very bad about rabbit holes sometimes. But anyway, Kanzaki drops by for a drink, this special drink that Godai made from, as it turns out, because it's Zari's. So it's some twist on the drink he's done. Tsubaki actually got a letter from the knife guy from before, and he's apparently doing good, and has even like sent the knife to Tsubaki to be like, I don't need this anymore. So good for him. Minori's still at the preschool doing her job, and as I said, she'll go on to marry a wrestling chiropractor. Just such a weird thing to be like, yeah, she's married a wrestling chiropractor.
Yeah.
And her friend is giving birth to the kid, and it's and she comes by with it. The kids are all happy to see it, and the little baby gets a good luck charm. And it's the same one we saw Godai make for the kids in the previous episode. We also check in with Satori, and this is when we find out that the Gorum actually had a safety where if Godai went rogue, it would actually self-destruct, and that would have destroyed the Arkle itself. Because the Arkle between Gorum or the Amadam stones between Gorum and the Arkle are connected. So if Godai went bad, Gorum would have self-destructed and took them both out. So technically Ichijo didn't have to shoot him. Technically. But apparently the Gorum is still in one piece at the lab. And in the novel, it's spending time in a shed out back because they don't know where else to put it. But apparently Godai's okay. And as we see, he is in some South American country, I'm willing to say, because he is speaking Spanish and these kids are speaking Spanish, and it is some very basic Spanish words, so it could honestly be any of them. Because I'm pretty sure some of these words are shared between the different variations of Spanish. But he's there entertaining some kids with some juggling that were fighting. He does his thing. He's gone full hermit because he's just walking along the beach. It's clear he's not all there because, you know, everything. But he's healing. Which, that's the end of the show, folks. There is technically an episode 50, but it's more of like a goof episode about, oh, we're going to get a movie. And then they never got a movie. It's just the cast having fun. And Godai's actor has not returned to play Godai since the end of the show. And many people say it's because he didn't like Kuuga. He didn't like Kuuga and he didn't like the genre, which is not the case. He's talked about how much he's liked Kuuga and he liked the show and he liked the people he worked with. He's just said that he's not going to come back unless it's for a Kuuga specific thing. Which is
makes
perfectly
sense.
Fine. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of okay with him not coming back. I kind of like the idea that Godai is, for all intents and purposes, retired. Like, he only ever pops up when absolutely necessary. Because, again, to take it to the novel, when he catches up with Ichigo, he talks about how he almost didn't come. Because even after 13 years, still living the hermit lifestyle, still hasn't gone back to Japan and checked in with all of the people he's checked in with, he's still not all there. He's still not quite right. So I'm kind of okay with Godai just walking away. Like, he doesn't have to come back. I kind of don't want him to come back. He is traumatized enough. Let him heal. It just makes me wish Onodore was a better character to kind of fill in that Kuuga role, since he could kind of be the acting Kuuga in place of Godai, since they've implied that sometimes it's the Onodore Kuuga, sometimes it's the Godai Kuuga that shows up. I believe the Wizard Special says it's specifically Godai and not Onodore that shows up for that special. But other times it's kind of implied to be Onodore. It's weird, considering we have two prominent Kuugas now. Like, which one is it? Is it the one that was the butt monkey, or the one that is dealing with PTSD?
Yes. I feel like that's just their answer to stuff.
Yeah, that is Kuuga, folks. It is still a favorite of mine, even on a third rewatch. Like, yeah, it's got problems, but I still enjoy it. I enjoy these characters. I love Godai. He's wonderful. He's incredibly dork writer, and I love my dork writers. How'd you feel about it by the end?
It's kind of like I was saying in the pre-show. I feel like I liked the way it ended, but I also feel like it kind of was a lighter end than what I was expecting.
Yeah.
But I think I also know where the problem more came from. I feel like we actually needed maybe one more episode.
Yeah.
Maybe showcasing a little bit more than just the quick clip show we've got of the first fight where he got completely beat down.
Yeah.
And I feel like that probably would have made it better then. Because then that would show the true look, the best form that he can have without tapping into this potentially dangerous form is not gonna cut it.
Yeah.
It kind of put the stakes a little higher, kind of deal.
Yeah, all the stuff is there for the finale, but it just needed more.
It
really
needed
click.
tweaked, kind of deal, not really changed.
Yeah, Kuuga is great, and until we watched Dino, besides Agito, it was honestly the only real show I liked of Phase 1 Heisei era, because I tried a bunch of the others and none of them clicked. Because all of them had different problems and stuff, and like just weren't like, I really didn't fall in love with them like I did Kuuga. But since we've watched Dino in full, hey, I like that one. I'm still scared to go back and watch Agito. That might end up being a thing for the show eventually, as we go through Agito and see how much we can collectively stomach of it, because that is a full Inoue written show. And I know those words are frightening, considering everything we've been through. Which, yeah, I will put it this way: Agito, I think, was my first true encounter with a full Inoue show, and I still liked it. But that, I think, at this point, I don't know if that means much because of everything I've had to watch of Inoue after the fact. Because I feel like I'm just going to look at Agito and I'm going to see all the problems I had with every other thing Inoue has ever written and just go, wow, I really don't like this show now. That is why I'm scared to go back and watch it.
Fair.
Yeah, Kuuga's good. Check it out. It is officially subbed on the Tubi and the other Chow Factory network of streaming services. Next week, it's 01. We start it. Yay! But between now and then, Wednesday it is Rocket League. Thursday it's more Rider Chronicle, and Saturday will be, I forgot offhand, but
also, Wednesday may or may not be Rocket League. I'm not 100% if we're going to do it day one.
Right.
Saturday might be Rocket League. If not, it'll be Halo 3.
Right.
And actually, correction on that even, it'll be ODST.
Yeah, because they put in the new skulls and stuff.
Yeah.
I could potentially try to join.
Also, yes, we have
which
had...
direction?
Anything, depending on if I have it installed on the PC. I'm having to use my phone's hotspot. But, depends on what it is. I might be able to get it downloaded before it's time to play and be able to join y'all. And yes, I have been a fly on the wall for, I don't know, the last 20-30 minutes.
Yeah. I was about to say hello to the clock, folks. He's been here a while.
I've just been listening. I haven't been watching, so I don't feel it's right for me to intrude with my thoughts on anything.
Kuuga is a very good show. You should give it a watch, especially since it's officially subbed.
I've heard you talk about it. Is that the Bat one?
No, that's Kiva. This is the Hercules Beetle one. That is the first Heisei era show.
Oh, is that the drums?
No, that's Hibiki. Further back. red main
Further
form.
back.
Yes.
I'm sure I've seen it, or I'm sure I've seen him. I just can't think of him.
Oh, I'm positive you have, because weren't you around when we did Decade?
Yes.
Then you've at
Fucking
least seen
hated
the
it.
form.
Yeah, I take that back. I didn't hate Decade. I hated Kabuto.
That's Kuuga.
Oh.
As we established.
I bad. It was the one I had clicked on.
Oh, Oh, yeah! The guy that looks like he's got a gold crown on. Yeah.
That would be the horns of a beetle, but yes. But yeah, the Rocket League, and yeah, you don't have to do anything new for Halo because all the skulls are there for Halo 3 or Halo 3 ODST. Yeah, anywho, folks, that will do it for us. So, if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away at that Philly Go. Add to on our Twitter, gives you updates on life. Next page point, Discord, chat, get your sister link, drop by, say hi. See you Wednesday, folks.